Hello there, this is Maria Allen, and we are all at the Long Island International Film Expo. And I have two really creative, exciting guys here with me tonight. Their names are Brandon Patton and Mike Cantor, and your movie is called?
Freckle.
Freckle. Why Freckle?
Freckle is the name of the song. It's a music video for the song Freckle.
Mike came to me with an idea to collaborate for one of my other songs. And I didn't think that was the right song because I knew his aesthetic. I knew he was obsessed with dots.
Wait, excuse me, he's obsessed with dots.
He's sort of obsessed with dots. All of his arts, he makes little statues, he makes short films.
I've spent 3 years creating 19,000 Velcro dots in different colors and patterns.
Are they all over your house?
They're in little vials, like little lipstick tubes, like in a big, 5 foot by 4 foot lipstick tube display of vials of dots.
When you enter his front door, you see dots everywhere. That's what his place looks like. It's just dot crazy.
Wallpaper, floor, everything dots?
Yeah, there are dots everywhere, dots of different sizes, big dots that have many little dots inside them, each of which itself has many little dots inside them.
Any favorite color of those dots?
Every color, yeah.
Every color.
I don't like to do, that would be like picking out a favorite child. You can't do that.
He tends to go with the real bright fluorescent.
Yeah, I have to learn about muted tones. That's the next step.
Like earth tones, things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're the creator of the song. You wrote the lyrics, the tunes, you're a guitarist and a singer.
Right. So I've been making solo albums since the 90s. I also play bass in a band called MC Frontalot. And I decided to write a song kind of for Mike that was about dots. It's called Freckle. It's about a dot on your lover and just sort of contemplating this dot and
dots in space
dots in space and
DNA
dots inside us and in our
yeah.
DNA and the sort of connection between us and the way our dots want to intermingle, and it gets kind of
I hope this conversation isn't more interesting than the film.
So is there a plot in this film?
It's loosely, well, you wrote the lyrics, but loosely two interacting particles across different scales, and the film is kind of impressionistic. There's a love story, there's a boy and a girl, but there isn't any real, narrative story.
And it's the music, the actual song called Freckle throughout the video.
Yes.
And is there any kind of message that you wanted to convey in the relationship between the two? I saw some freckles on their faces. And were they both obsessed with freckles too?
She did have some pretty nice freckles, although I got complaints that the freckle that we highlighted in one scene where I glued beads to her face and chest is actually a mole and not a freckle.
A mole?
Yeah, but...
How could you do that?
More noticeable. I mean, you got to go with what's visual.
Like the Marilyn Monroe kind of mole thing,
right.
But this could start a whole new thing.
The confusion between freckles and moles is a good start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you prefer a freckle or a mole?
I don't know. I think I prefer freckles. Just disparate, diffuse freckles.
And tell us about your hobby at home with all the dots and how long it took to film this.
It took about 1.5 years to make Freckle. It's stop animated, so it's about 8,000 still images, and then there's a lot of live action video too, and some crazy green screen stuff. We have Brandon in a Velcro green bodysuit that I'm also, like a green screen bodysuit that I'm moving dots around on.
So very tedious work.
Yeah, it keeps me off the streets.
Keeps you out of trouble. So what do you have to say about his dot obsession?
I think that Mike has a very active mind, and it gives him a direction to put all of that activity, and he'll spend hours alone just ripping off Velcro dots and replacing them with a different color, and then taking one shot, and maybe he'll get 9 or 10 frames done that night, and it's kind of like Joyce working on Ulysses.
I can point at each of the vials of dots and be like, those 6 vials of dots, that was like seasons 3 through 7 of Project Runway, like sitting in front of the TV.
So you remember them all?
Right,
yeah, I really do.
A lot of paper too.
Yeah.
Wow, so they all have little personalities, little dot personalities.
Yeah, I can tell you where I was in each, for each of the dots.
This is love.
What?
This is love.
It is sort of love, yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm trying to learn how to love human beings also. They're a little more demanding.
Just a little.
Yeah.
But all these dots, how do you have enough love for them all?
There's love is infinite. Yes.
It is. That's so true. Thank you for reminding me of that. So are there any more shapes in the future? Any more short films?
I'm working. I actually did the music video as a way to kind of creep towards narrative film.
Okay.
Because my first video was purely abstract, but I've just slided back into indulging myself with doing crazy abstract patterns for my next film, which I think is going to be called Advanced Doodling. And
Advanced doodling.
It's just completely crazy stop motion of random stuff.
Are you going to be involved in the Advanced Doodling project?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And was Freckle written for anyone in particular?
You have to ask Brandon.
It was actually. I was just getting married. I was engaged. Was I already engaged when I wrote that?
Yeah.
I think so. So it was a love song for my wife, or my fiance.
It's actually a great story. He's burying the lead.
Well, yeah. So there's, my wife is a research scientist in biology, and so when I started thinking about topics for a song that needed to be about dots to fit Mike's aesthetic, I started thinking about the fact that my wife spends all day at a microscope looking at little dots, or shooting lasers at little dots and making them change color and doing all these things with dots, and so I kind of work in a lot of science metaphors into the song,
But also it's the opening scene. I mean, the way that the two dots first come together is you see Brendan in an airplane, and that's because
we met on an airplane, right? We met on an airplane, and then we said goodbye, and then we were on the same return flight like 5 days later, and that was.
Are you serious?
That's the short version of the story. He spent the whole time in San Francisco, like figuring out how he could track her down in Minnesota.
And you ended up on the same plane ride home?
And they were on the same return
romantic.
flight, and now they're married.
Story.
Two dots.
Two dots.
That's all it started with.
Yeah.
And now look.
And now look.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed watching it, and congratulations to you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Congratulations.